Greetings, minions, Novians, and fellow gamers. This is Silverblade playing Dual Universe. I'm not really doing a series on this, at the moment anyway, but I am kind of doing some, kind of like training videos in a sense, and also just showing off my base. I'll be doing these videos off and on every now and then, so it's not a continuous thing. The last video I did was about mining and how I do it and how to do it so it's efficient, so you can find your way out, so you don't have to kill yourself to come back to the base automatically. But that was a previous video, so now I'm just going to show you guys the basics of my base. Now, when you start out, you don't start out this good, or at least this way. I won't say this good, I'll just say this way. But you do build up to it. And one of the first things I did was I built this up here, and this is a small landing pad. And this is my ship here, the Argentum Osprey, which means Silver Osprey, because, well, Silver Blade, silver, you kind of have to name yourself after the color, and everything else has to be named after the color, so blah blah, etc. But anyway, this is my my hauler. It goes in atmosphere and in space. Does pretty good. It carries, I think, safely carries. I don't have it maxed out, but it carries safely about 200 tons of goods. I have 8 cargo containers. These are of the small variety. Whoops. And then I have 2 medium atmospherics and 2 medium space and fuel tanks. And then I have these here. Now, this is a raid so that this one back here, this atmospheric tank, will run this engine, this reverse engine, I think these as well. So it's port side, starboard side, so this side and this side, and the same thing for the space tanks as they run those there. Then you have these tanks here. One tank, and I don't remember which, runs like 3 of these, and the other one runs those 2, and then like these. So it kind of divides up the fuel consumption between them. And then the smaller fuel tanks there essentially run like my strafe engine up here, so I can go side to side. It's not very powerful, so it doesn't really do a whole lot. I think it might also control like this one and this little one right here. Can't remember exactly how I arrayed that, but it works pretty good. It flies pretty smoothly. Re-entries can be a little bit hairy though, and gets the pucker factor up. But anyways, that's my 4th ship, I think. Alright, and then over here I have a medium container for my space fuel, and for my nitron fuel, which is the atmospheric fuel. Now this is also a depot for Haladmer, a Drayden, and if Sharky can get his butt in the game, for him too. But they can come land here, fuel up their ships, and go about their business as they will. This here is a raw ore drop-off. So as you can see, right now I have 19 kiloliters of bauxite, which is aluminum, coal, which is carbon, hematite is iron, quartz is silicon, chromite is chromium, limestone is calcium, malachite is copper, and natron is sodium. So basically, if you have the raw resources, you just dump them right in here. Also, when I go out mining, whether it's grass mining as I call it, when you're out here picking out the resources that are out in the grass, I call it grass mining, or if you're below the surface and going for the huge deposits, this is automatically declared as my link container, so it all will automatically go in there. So that covers that part. Alright, the next part, I got a little fancy in designing this, and then I didn't make the rest of the base like this at all, but this is the refined materials bin. So everything that's here gets transposed over here. I plan on refining this even more. I want to have 8 large containers like this, each for the individual raw materials. So because we're going to be stepping up mining at some point, and I'm going to need space for all that. So this here's got 149 tons of material, and it's 40% full. But if we go off world and get like 400, 500, 700 tons, these are going to have to go into individual bins. So I'll have it go, the raws go into here, and then that'll go out, branch out to individual containers using transfer units. So it'll transfer each individual one to those bins, and then it'll transfer in here to these machines here, which are my refiners. So you can see I got quartz, hematite, etc., and those will process the material, put them in here as the refined material, and also put in the hydrogen and oxygen. Now the reason why I have it come into this, go from the refiners into this, is because it does make this as a byproduct, and then also makes 3 of them, I think, make carbon as a byproduct, and 1 of them makes iron as a byproduct. So this way it all comes into here, and then I can have oh, look at this again. I'll have right now I have a transfer unit that sucks all the hydrogen and oxygen out of here once it gets to 100 liters into a container, and then the carbon just goes in there and iron goes in there. Alright, so this is kind of like an entry point. So if you land, you have raw materials, you put them in there. If you have already processed any of the materials, you just dump them in here. Alright, so we got to this part. One thing I do want to show is in here, this is where, right now I'm only using these 2 and these 2, but this is where I refine into Kurgan X1. There's X2, X3, and X4, but I'm not doing that here. But I'm making 50,000 liters of this, and because I got 50,000 and then some, and it's not producing anymore, so it's just kind of sitting idle. I have these 3 transfer units. This one transfers 500 sodium, silicon, and carbon, and it comes in. I haven't labeled these, and this is like the oldest part of the base. But carbon in here, silicon in here, and sodium in here, and that's to keep these things running. So when someone uses fuel, it just automatically tries to refill up to the 50,000 liter level. And then this here is where some of my hydrogen and oxygen gets dumped into. I just have it set at that for both of them, so that keeps a steady level of those gases in here, all used for fuel production that goes up in here. In fact, if you want to see the mess of purple spaghetti, you could see the lines going in and out of all these machines. Lovely, ain't it? Alright, so this is like the oldest part of the base. This and this area here. So I can come in here, check my machines. I have it set right now to maintain 2,500 liters of carbon, and once it gets to that level, it just kind of goes into a waiting pattern. I'm using up a ton of hematite and carbon right now, so it's kind of making use of that. These here is a special projects bin. One thing I have been doing is been building what I'm calling the Argentum Eagle, which is a silver eagle, and I've been storing up all of these. I've been making 10 of each part. I need to move this one down here, but making 10 of just about each part, not every part, but just about each part, so I can have parts for my ship in the construction of it, as well as Hal and a Drayden, and eventually Sharky. Can come and if they say, well, I need X number of X part, I can say, yeah, I got it, here we go. It's all laid out, and some of them are still building, some been used up a little bit, but we're getting there. So yeah, that's my special projects bin. That helps to get my ships made, and this is just a recent addition. Alright, this is a main tank for my hydrogen and oxygen. So when they get filled up, I actually delete half of what's in here. So when this gets maxed out, I'll delete half of it just to keep some space available for it. Alright, so coming from here, from that bin there, I have the allotment of resources. Got chromium, calcium, copper, and sodium, and this is like a pre-sort kind of thing. So it's supposed to keep 1,000 of each in here before it gets distributed out. Now that's what these here are for. That's just to maintain a certain level in here. There is a backlog of material here, so when it gets drained out, from there it goes into here, and then from here it gets distributed out across the whole thing. So like right now, this is maintaining 1,000, maintaining 1,000. It's supposed to be, I don't have all my materials stockpiled, so like chromium, I've been kind of weak on that right now. Oh, turn that off. Aluminum, I'm good. Silicon, I'm good. Copper, yeah, I've been using up copper and calcium, but not as much as I thought. But yeah, that's what these are for. So these transfer units up here bring it from these bins up in here, and then into these bins, and then these machines are all hooked up to whatever ones they need. So like this one right here is making alpha alloy, so it's using aluminum and iron. So as it's needed, it just pulls out from those bins and then deposits in here. Or for the calcium reinforced copper, deposits in there. Duraluminum, siluminum. And these boxes here, basically I want these to be just completely filled up. So like steel, it's getting there, but it's also being used elsewhere in the base. Stainless steel, I got to get this back up. I need a chromium and iron to make that. See, does it need, oh, and carbon. So I'm good on the iron and carbon, but I'm not good on the chromium. So that's just kind of waiting for me to move my butt. But so steel, stainless steel, all this will get used in the other machines. Now over here we're making plastics. So I got polycarbonate and polycalcite. So here's my polycalcite machines, here's my polycarbon. My hydrogen comes from main tank over here, goes into here, fills this box completely up. Up here I got calcium and carbon, and transfer unit is trying to keep it at 1,000. I say trying. So that'll try to keep these going. This here, okay, I don't have any active recipe for that yet. That's where expansion comes in. So I've left some room to expand for the tier 1 and the tier 2 elements as I need them through here, and I could also go against these walls here. Over here I'm making glass and LEDs. So as you can see, got 1,000 glass. I'm working my way up to 600 liters of advanced glass, and I have LEDs as well. But this is for making luminescent blocks or honeycomb. So I'll be using some of those. But yeah, I got sodium, calcium, silicon, and then coming into this transfer unit from the main tank way over there is the oxygen. So that these are being fed from way over there. So from there into whatever these are and whatever these are, they're going into the transfer units, going into those boxes, and then the machines can use them. Over here I have the LED, I have the glass in here. I have the LEDs right here, and then over here is luminescent white glass. So I'm just maintaining one in my output container, but I just take it, move it over to my special projects bin, and we'll try to start to make another one. Now over here, this is kind of like a atypical machine for the rest of this, and that's where I kind of tuck it in the corner. But this is for making honeycomb, and I use the glossy light gray carbon fiber, and I have 2 3D printers making carbon fiber right here. So I have pure carbon, and this is, I believe, polycarbonate, which is, let's see, is this one? Okay, let's put it in there. I think I put the, see, carbon fibers there, goes in there. Carbon here goes in there. I can't remember where my okay, that's odd, because I know at one time I had a transfer unit shuttling carbon fiber into this. Okay, so it's putting carbon in there, and then I think what I did was I connected the polycarbonate from there directly to these machines. I think that's what I did. But I kind of screwed up a little bit of what my routine was on this, but basically it is good to go to maintain 180 meters squared of carbon fiber. And then this here is just my scrap machine. I don't use this that much, and I actually made a mistake with this machine. I wanted it to maintain a certain amount, and instead I had it run infinitely, and it sucked up every bit of my chromium. And that really sucked, because I think it was like 5,000 liters of chromium, and it just spit out 5,000 liters of chromium scrap. I'm like, oh crap. So yeah, I keep that one off. Alright, so electronics. Obviously, this is my electronics industry, and basically, I do the same routine here. I grab whatever materials is needed from any of these machines. I have a spare bin, so that what it does is I have a bin here for polycarbonate, but instead of running 10, or in some cases more than 10, or trying to get more than 10, because you can only connect 10 to a box, so I've had to split it up. So instead of running 10 from one thing, I try to do one or two per type of machine. So polycarbonate comes out of here, polycalcite comes out of here, comes up to the machine. In this case, alloy comes in here, deposits in there, and then as the machines are needing it, it just sucks them right on up. Sometimes a material will be made by one of these machines, and it'll be needed by one of these other machines, so it kind of doubles back, like right here. So in this case, components are needed, so I have them go back into this, go in here, and it gets used by whatever machine. So like right here, uncommon electronics, and then it comes out to these boxes. So I got transformers I don't have hooked up right now, but I got power systems, electronics, connectors, and components. The reason why I have lights on them on these here is because I have them connected elsewhere, and I'll show you that in a little bit. But one thing, like, I have some extra room here for electronics, and so I have room up here, so I left some more space to expand outward on this. But one thing that I have is things I don't regularly manufacture, such as uncommon ore scanners, XLs. I have the machine here. I don't have it running because it uses a buttload of polycalcite. I mean, 2,401 liters of polycalcite, and I'm not gaining enough calcium to maintain that, so I do have stuff get deposited up in here. I don't use these that much, except for when I'm making territory scanners, and I probably will have to use it one more time to help a Drayden out, because he's also trying to build 2 TSs, or territory scanners, so that's an important ingredient in that. But so I don't use that ingredient all that often, so I keep that one off. But I maintain 2,500 polycalcite if I can manage it. Sometimes I'll come up in here and yoink out of there and redistribute it to another more needy site in my base. These don't have an active recipe. These are just kind of placeholders for now, but so that's all the electronics. Alright, next is 3D printers. So I can produce injectors, fixations, casings, and because I had to split these up, basic screens and uncommon screens, and the reason why I had to split them up is when I added them all together, like 10 of these and 10 of these, and I wouldn't have enough room in one box, and it also helped me sort this out. But same principle applies. Pull out of whatever resource I need, make an individual request, I guess you could say, for whatever. And this machine looks like it's hungry, actually. Okay, it looks like, yeah, I got 5,000. Alright. But yeah, this manufactures all the parts I need, and this is not just an individual part, but like uncommon screen XS, basic screen S, uncommon screen L, because I think there's only 2 variations of this, basic screen M, basic casing XS, basic casing S, uncommon casing. So it makes everything of that particular type. So casings, all that's available of that, this is all handled, as long as I keep it fed. Alright, so we'll skip this part real quick, and we'll come over here to the Metalworks. And this is where a lot of the manufacturing takes place, because well, you need screws, you need pipes, you need hydraulics. Those are like the three main ingredients in just about everything, or some variation thereof. So I have my steel gets ported in from way over there, where the crosshair is, all the way over here, and machines pull out what it needs. Stainless steel, etc., etc., etc. This here, because these are the three high demand items, I have more than one machine to make it. So uncommon screws are those two, common screws or basic screws are those two. Pipes, same story. So there's that. Hydraulics, same thing. And let's see, burners, uncommon, basic. Okay, this is where I start to go one of each machine, because I didn't need those as much. Mobile panels, I got, there we go, basic mobile panel S, XS, M, Ls. So basically all I did was I went through the recipes and say, how many different variations are there on screws? Well, there's 3 of them, and I haven't got the parts. I don't have Inconel yet to make a machine for this, so I'm just have that on hold. If I want to make mobile arms, well, there's no uncommon or advanced, so I have all of these, I think, except for XL. I don't think I include that in this build yet, but I can easily insert it. See, that's chemical containers. But yeah, I can just add one up on top here, hook it up, ready to go. So yeah, that's how that goes. Now some of these are repetitive, like up in here I have, let's see, over here I have a steel one, a steel box up there, and a steel box here. And basically what I did was I went by the one machine out of the 10 that has the highest demand. So if it's, say, one of these machines requires 600 steel to make, I'd either have it pull in 600 steel into that box, or I would actually just go to 1,000, so it can run that one machine as well as some of these smaller machines that don't require as much in order to keep them going. So like in this case here, this one's hooked up to a bunch, as you can see, the purple spaghetti. This one is requiring 1,000, or has that amount available in it, and it feeds several machines. And I have to trim these down a little bit too, just to keep them efficient. But because like this one here has got 37 stainless steel, which isn't going to run very many machines for very long. But also I need more stainless steel. But I have another steel box up here. This one I have a lot of steel in, because these are my frame machines. So basic standard frame, large, that requires aluminum, so requires a fairly hefty amount there. But over here, let's see, I think this is, yeah, reinforced frame, A lot of steel. Stainless steel and steel. And one of these, yeah, basic ionic chamber, 2400 steel. Uncommon reinforced frame XL, 2400 steel, 1200 steel, 2400 stainless steel. Thankfully, I don't use those that much. And then uncommon ionic chamber. That's a lot of steel, stainless steel even. All right, so after they're all deposited into these boxes, these forward boxes, up there is for the machines, down here is for my assemblers right there. But one of the problems I had was that there's 7 inputs on an assembler, as listed right there. So there's only 7, but there's 10 outputs from a cargo container, and there's like a buttload of material in here. So one box can hold 4 or 8 or even 10 different variations of a frame, or a uncommon frame, or reinforced frame, etc. And in order to feed the assemblers, I would have to, look at the recipe, which I am really bad at remembering. So I have to go by this, and I'd have to hook up to the basic pipes, the hydraulics, the robotic arms, and the frames. And if it's a different box, then I have to go through here. Let's see if I can highlight it here. I'd have to delete one and then find it in here, connect a line to it, and snap it to that, and then go on to the next one, and the next one, next one, and make sure it's all hooked up. That became a pain in my ass real quick. So what I decided to do was connect for every single individually manufactured part. So for this, for all the sizes, I decided to run them over here. Let's see if I can run over here. To this wide array of transfer units. So this one here is basic standard frame XS. That's pulling out a box way down there, pulls into here, and deposits into here. This is standard frame S, standard frame M, standard frame L, standard or basic magnet 50, because I wanted to make sure that everything was kind of kept together, so I didn't have like basic magnet here and an uncommon magnet here. So I tried to keep them all together, as you can see. So all these get pulled in their own box. So magnets, of course, because I want to keep it all together, go in here. Basic standard frames and uncommon standard frames for all the sizes. So all this is reinforced frames, common and uncommon. This is all my ionic chambers, which kind of got messed up a little bit, out of place, because I like to keep them nice and neat like that. This here is kind of keep them grouped by size. So this is the basic layout of it. So I have 7 boxes initially that all the transfer units are feeding into each of these parts. There we go. It's the OCD in me that's just really flipping out. But a box can hold 10 items, have 10 inputs, 10 outputs. I figured that's 70 parts. However, there's more parts in the game than that, especially at the T1 and T2 level. So basic screens, so this is like, these here are pretty much all metalworking stuff. Over here, these 2 boxes are 3D printed electronics, glass, and plastics. I don't need to do those. And so those get ported into here, and when I go and hook all this up, let's see if I can climb up. Oh. Fly! Okay, so you could take one of these machines, have the connector tool. Yeah, I gotta aim at my own property here. So connect. So there's only 7 boxes that you have to worry about connecting to. And if you need reinforced frames and you're connected to the one box that has the standard frames, well, you can easily find out which one, delete that line, connect the proper line, and then connect one of the other boxes that you need. Say if you need components, for instance, you delete the one that you don't need, add the one you do need, and then that's as simple as that. So 9 boxes. There'll be more boxes in the long run, but that's for what I got now. But it makes it a lot simpler than having to go and say, I need a standard frame from way over there to connect up to here, and then I need screws to connect up to there, and then I need plastic that goes from there and there. It's hard to follow. It makes it easier. Now I do plan on replacing, not replacing, but replacing within the base these 7 boxes, and I'm thinking I'll move them up here to this floor level up here. So the purple lines coming from those boxes going to the transfer units will not be going through those. These boxes will be lifted up so that all the lines from the transfer units go in the back, and then I can have a much more cleaner and clearer line of sight to these. These here will be moved up this way more, and that should work out pretty damn good. Alright, so once they go into the assemblers, they come into here. I have, as you can see, 4 large cargo boxes or container boxes, and they're all connected to a container hub. So I can actually move some stuff out, connect there. Stuff got made while I was yapping. Alright, so what do we got here? Atmospheric tank medium. There we go. Hover engine medium. Boom. Adjuster small. Connected. So I need a couple more of these. Gotta finish the rest of those. You guys get the idea. Okay, so that makes some sense of my base. Makes it kind of cleaner, easier to follow. Now the reason why I have all my machines lined up around the walls is because this area in here will be a hangar. Now when I made this large core static structure, I had to put the core way up there to get it so that the ground level met up with the ground, well, the bottom of the box met with the ground level. So what I'm planning on doing is when I get the walls angled up, I can show you better from here. So up in here I'll have glass panels that'll be angling up towards this way, and then it'll be a flat roof. So I have to figure out how many will be going on a diagonal up towards this, and when I reach a certain level, then I'll flatten out the roof, and it'll have all these within it. and then I could take out the pillar that holds up the core. But this entire area will be moved around a little bit so that Hal or Drayden or myself can come in here, get everything lined up. I'm going to put a grid work on the floor, and this will be a dry dock of sorts. But it'll be straightened out a little bit. Of course, new machines will be added in over time, but that'll be kept to the edges so that there's plenty of room to work on, like, my medium core ship, which I only started pretty much last night. I haven't gotten too much further into it, but this is just a rough layout of it, and want to get things kind of fitted in right. I'm going to put in the honeycomb body, and yeah, it's going to be a nice, hopefully nice, 3-4 person craft. You'll have plenty of hauling capability. There'll be some seats in there. It'll have a radar. I hope Hal can make me a warp drive sometime soon, because we'll have a warp drive on this. Yeah, so this should be the main hauler for me, probably even for our organization. But this definitely will get fleshed out more, and I got the parts, or most of the parts anyway, so I don't have any excuses why it's not getting built. Okay, so next, I think I've covered just about everything here. I'll just comment on the aesthetics of it here. Didn't know what to do to make it look kind of good and yet keep its function. So I just took and made all these glass panes and framed it in with iron, glossy iron, and kind of give it a different color than just a bland silver gray color. And this is so I can actually walk up here and see the lights on the machines to see if they're running or not. Like, that one's running, but that one's not. So I can kind of see at a glance what's working, what's not, and kind of eyeball what is needed. You know, if I need a certain material or whatever, I can look down and say, okay, I kind of need more of this or more of that. And also it just gives a nice little balcony kind of thing. When it comes to the Type 3 and Type 4 machines, I'll be taking out the railing around here. I'll leave the glass floor in, and I'll build up the wall up around this, and then add the new machines into there. So it's going to be kind of stacked with Type 1, Type 2, Type 3, Type 4, and I don't think there's anything to do with Type 5 really, but that would stack on top of that. But it also try to keep it so that this isn't one great big box. I kind of want to have like a tiered cake of sorts, just so that it's not just a boring, bland square. Alright, and then up in here on top is my resurrection thing. So if I die, I spawn up here. Whether I force die or I get killed in a crash, I'll just reappear there. But what I want to do is I want to have up top here screens to show how much of each resource I have, whether it's the raw or the refined or even the components. So I can look at a glance and say, okay, I need to go and mine this because I need that component or this component. So it adds a little bit more to the functionality. Excuse me. Also, I can see, like, if a Drayden, see his base is right there between those two trees. I could see him. I could see him from my house. But yeah, if a Drayden's coming in, or Hal, who is his places over that way. I can see if they're landing, and if, you know, this is kind of a tight spot right now, but you can say, hey, you go a little more right, a little forward, etc. Kind of air traffic control them down on the spot. And this is why I laid out these lines here, so you can kind of use them as guidelines to land. It doesn't always work when your ship doesn't want to cooperate, but, you know, that's how it goes. Now, in the future, I'm going to get another core. I don't know what size I want to do just yet. And this is probably a few more weeks down the road before I do this. But I want to connect up to this base so that it's almost seamless. I'm going to tear out this wall and stretch it out, maybe out to here, and then put in, like I said earlier, about the 8 large cargo boxes and the transfer units for the raw resources. Set them up in here, put in the wall, and then I want to make a warp cell, a dedicated warp cell loop in this area here, and then I can take and extend the landing pad out this way, and then probably out that way, so it comes out here and out here. So you have a small craft spot here, and then medium and possibly even large craft up here, so they can land on that. The space underneath it will not be wasted. It will be a warp cell factory or warp cell loop dedicated, so it's not going to be connected to the factory itself. It'll be its own autonomous unit. Just add resources, and that should handle that. I'm going to have to flatten out this area here, and so that there'll be, like I said, an arched roof here, and then the dry dock or shipyard or whatever you want to call it can be set up in here, and you'll have plenty of space to take off and crash. I mean, take off and fly. And yeah, so that's kind of the idea. Been looking around and getting ideas from other channels, not only in design but also like scripting. That's something I kind of want to get into. I'm not very good at programming, but I can understand some of the aspects of it. I mean, the last time I did any real programming was back in the 80s on my Commodore 64 in BASIC. So, but I can understand basically a fair amount of programming and scripting and stuff like that. I want to get into that to do things for the ship, for the base. I kind of want to be the miner guy, as well as producing parts for the rest of the organization, to help out junior members of the organization. Hal's Hero Hall. Let's see, right here. And I don't think we're recruiting just yet, but when we do, I want to be able to help people get started, get you know, resources together from other people. You know, like, hey, I could use X amount of this and that. Just dump them off when you can. I mean, that's what we've been doing so far with just Hal and Adraden and I. You know, I've been providing engine parts and ship parts of various kinds for them, and they've been giving resources to me. So it's just kind of, you know, not keeping track of debts, but helping each other out when we need it, and kind of lends to a nice positive atmosphere. No one feels, you know, useless or out of place, and we all just kind of pick what we're good at. But you know, like right in here, this is where most of my skills are at, and I've just kind of picked up some of these other skills to kind of round my guy out a little bit. But yeah. So I hope you guys enjoy this, appreciate this, get some ideas from this. Especially Hal and Drayden, if they're looking at this wondering, why the hell did I have a whole wall of transfer units? And these aren't cheap, so, you know, I had to make most of them. Why the hell did you use all those resources to make that? Well, I did it to make things simpler by getting things to complicate it, or complicate things to make them simpler. That's how I did it. Yeah. Anyways, I'll probably be doing another tour of the base in the future here when things get changed around a little bit, when the hangar gets done, when out here gets done. But for now, that is it. I think I might do a video probably after I get the Eagle finished, but I could do it with the Osprey, but on how to take off and land, you know, go up to space and come back down safely, or at least how I do it. I think there's several different methods on how to do it, but for me and my ship, as you can see, there's how many engines I got. That'll make a big deal of a difference technique. So figured I'll show my side of it and see if it helps out Drayden and Hal, and if it doesn't, well, it could help someone else that watches this video down the line. Anyway, I am done. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I do hope you enjoyed it. And until next time, see you later. Twitch.